morning, everyone. My name is Alex Lee. I'm a program manager on the Microsoft 365 Information Protection team. I'm really excited today for folks in the room and also folks that are streaming online to talk about all the new functionality that we're bringing soon to the Microsoft 365 Security and Compliance Centers. So a quick show of hands, how many of you guys have seen or heard or seen a lot of Brad and Rob's demos around the new Microsoft 365 Security and Compliance Center? All right, so almost everyone. Awesome, that's super good and super great. So I'm really excited to be going deep into all the demos of all the new functions and features that you will get. Just to kind of level set a bit, Microsoft 365 is the complete and intelligent solution for organizations to empower and allow customers such as yourselves and your end users to be able to be secure compliant while also being productive at the same time. It's an offering that includes Office 365 Enterprise, Windows 10 Enterprise, and also Enterprise Mobility and Security, if you guys are curious what it entails and offers. And what this means is basically this is the new place for the Microsoft 365 customers, specifically the security admins, the security operators, the compliance officers, and data admins to come in and configure your advanced compliance and security requirements and needs. So before I get into the demos, and we'll be very demo heavy, during the demos I will kind of stop and allow you to ask for questions, but kind of before we get there to level set a bit. You may ask, like, why these two different workspaces and these different specialized workspaces? Well, we've done a lot of customer research and talked to a lot of you guys, and what we found that is from the compliance aspect, there is really three main pieces the compliance really cares about, which is assess, protect, and respond. And the way we think about this is compliance and security are two sides of the same coin. A lot of customers have requirements that are specific to compliance and specific to security, and we've really heard your feedback around requiring specialized workspaces to cater to both and customize for both. Now, what does this actually mean? For assess, the first step we often hear from compliance officers and data admins is they need to know what's going on and what are the risks and compliance risks within the organization. So what does it mean? How do we find these pieces out? I will show you that through the demo shortly. The next piece after being able to assess your compliance risks and needs is protect. How do we protect customers and your end users from these compliance regulations like GDPR, right? We have a wide range of features today inside of the different Microsoft 365 solutions that allows you to classify your data. How many of you guys have been to some of the labeling sessions? We talked very heavily about Microsoft Information Protection and Unified Label Story. So I'll be demoing a bit later around how that works to protect and help your company really become more compliant. What about retention or e-discovery? How many of you guys have gone to some of those sessions as well? Okay, a good handful of those. We'll look into that as well. And the last piece from a compliance side is the ability to respond. Once you've assessed and then protected your data, how do you audit it? How do you show your compliance? We'll look a little bit at the analytics that we've also built to streamline that process. So as I said a bit earlier, we view security and compliance as two sides of the same coin. And what that means is the specialized workspace for security, we've looked at it in a similar approach where we heard from a lot of customers through user surveys, advisory boards, and a lot of the forums and whatnot, that visibility, control, and guidance are the three pillars that the security admins and security operators really look at. What that means is, first, the security operators and admins really need to understand what are the risks and the security risks within your organization. Is MFA turned on? Are we having a lot of suspicious logins and users? There's oftentimes a lot of complexity around understanding the signals within your organization. So through the Microsoft 365 Security Center, we really made that as a key point to show you what are the security and risks within your organization. The next piece is control. So very similar to the compliance side where you need to be able to protect your organization, you also need to be able to control who has access, what are the different access conditions, who has the ability to configure what, and being able to define the security policies that allow for that. We'll go into that a bit in the demos. And finally is guidance. Once the security operators and admins have gone in and understood the visibility and the security risk of the organization and have put in the controls for those policies, the final and last piece is understanding how do you guide your end users? How do you guide even future security officers and security admins to better understand how to further enforce your security? We do this through recommendations and insights, and I'll be going through that in the demo as well. Now, how many of you guys are sick of this? Right, a lot of you. This is one of those screens that we hate to show through Microsoft because this is just actually a very small sampling of the different Microsoft products that we have for security and compliance. We've heard the feedback, which is why we took all this feedback and basically made it a lot simpler, and I'll be demoing that today for you. So before we go on the journey around what's new with Microsoft 365 security compliance, let's talk a little bit about where we are today. Where we started earlier this year was we started the initial unification of the Microsoft 365 Security Compliance Center. So what you may notice is that the URL still points to protection.microsoft today. And the next piece is we started pulling together these different personas to give you one single view of that. What we have today is a long way off from where we want to be, and what I'll be showing you in the demos is what's coming and all the new work that we've done. So let's kind of start off with, how do we land on these specialized workspaces from a persona perspective? Well, through our user research and the customer surveys, we actually found that within the security and compliance space, there are numerous different personas and role groups. And through those research, we actually found that there's 25 plus of these. And as we started distilling it down, we found that there's about 2 really significant ones that came up, which was compliance and security. And within those 2 different categories, we have different role groups specifically around security operator, security administrator, compliance officer, and data administrator. So I'm really curious, and we can hold this to the end of the session, if these 4 personas don't land within your organization, or if your company has different personas and different requirements and needs around the different role groups, I would love for you guys to come up after the session to kind of give us that feedback offline. And just to kind of land what these different roles mean, security operator is usually someone that's within the security system 24/7, looking at alerts, looking at risk and mitigating those issues. The security administrator, as we see it, is someone that goes and determines what are the security policies that need to be put in place. Compliance officer, similar to security administrator, is someone that determines the baseline for the compliance regulations and needs and policies within the organization. And finally, data administrator is someone that will go in and take a look at the raw data and understand what's going on with the organization. So this is just a summary of how we landed with the new Microsoft 365 specialized workspaces. We've now created a specialized workspace called Security Center, and if you look, the URL is very, very simple. What do you guys expect it to say? Yes, security.microsoft.com. Super simple to remember. And from the compliance side, what is it going to be? Yes, compliance.microsoft.com. And this basically allows you to remember 2 simple URLs. Of course, there's other ways to get to it within the different admin consoles, and I'll actually demo that shortly. But this makes it really simple for you and your customers and your admins to come to these specialized workspaces that are customized for your requirements and needs, specific to the different personas. So within Microsoft 365 compliance and security experience, we have 4 main pillars that we're focusing on. The first one, as I think I've already driven home, is being scenario-driven and based on targeted personas. What this means is we've heard all your feedback. We've selected a couple of different personas we believe meets the requirements of most organizations, and we really drove that home to be able to say, for these different personas, we believe that this is what they would expect to see on their custom dashboards. The next piece is experiences are coherent and seamlessly connected. Now, in the picture I showed you of the 6 or 7 different Microsoft security and compliance dashboards, the very obvious thing that jumps across is none of these pieces look and feel the same. We've done a lot of great work, and there's folks in the audience who've actually been the developers that have done this work, so kudos to them. They've gone in and really made the experience between not just compliance and security seamless, but also with the other admin consoles. How many of you guys have seen the new Microsoft 365 Admin Center? There's a couple of sessions around that. Okay, great. So what you'll see is when I start demoing that shortly, there's a seamless transition between the existing Microsoft 365 admin centers and the new specialized workspaces for security and compliance. It has the same look and feel, it has the same UX metaphors, it's just seamless and you don't even notice the transitions. The next piece is that Microsoft 365 experiences are a complete solution. What that means is previously you had to go to different portals and different products and solutions to configure your compliance and security regulations, policies, and needs. Now what I'll be demoing is that Microsoft 365, the security and compliance centers, allows you one seamless experience to have a complete solution. This is done through unified labels, it's done through the new Microsoft Secure Score experiences, and you guys will see that shortly. Last and not least, a lot of the feedback we've heard from you guys is compliance and security is sometimes very hard to configure and it's very confusing. What are the recommendations and insights, and what are the next steps that we should really take to do that? So we've done a lot of work around the pieces. Sorry, my laptop. We've done a lot of work around thinking about what are the proactive and intelligent recommendations we can provide customers that are actually custom to your tenant to be able to show you what are the next steps, what's easy to configure, what's the low-hanging fruit to become easily compliant and secure within your organization. So with that, I am going to go to demos. How many of you guys are excited to see the demos? Woo! So I was saying a bit earlier, if you guys from the back even want to see the screens a little bit clearer, feel free to move up. So where I am here is I'm in the new Microsoft 365 Admin Center. I think a lot of you guys have seen this demoed pretty often, so I'll walk through this pretty fast. One of the first things you'll see is, of course, now the URL is admin.microsoft.com. So similar to the work we've done with security.microsoft.com and compliance.microsoft.com. We've made it really simple for you guys to come to these different admin spaces. One of the first things you'll see when you come to this organization, and I'm signed into Contoso, I'm an admin, I see a recommendation at the top. And what's a little bit different about this recommendation is it actually is customized to your organization and tells you what sensitive information that you should be protecting. And what's different about this is previously in the admin center, it's very specialized to, users, group configuration, billing, and whatnot. What we've done is we've partnered with the Microsoft 365 admin team to start showing compliance and security recommendations directly in line to the first page that an admin would actually see. And of course, you only get these recommendations if your role group and your permissions align with the security and compliance pieces. So let's click on this recommendation. So within this, you see that I have the option to protect my sensitive information. And what's really powerful about this is it's not a static template. How many of you guys are really tired of, having one click to say, this is the only thing I can configure, I don't have any options or flexibility around that, right? That's oftentimes what you see with a recommendation. Well, that's, we've heard the feedback, and that's intentionally what we didn't try to do. So within a couple of different clicks, I have recommendations that are specific to my Contoso tenant about turning on US, UK passport number or US social security numbers. So you can imagine if you're in different geography like China or Japan or anywhere else, you would probably get different recommendations that are specific to the location of your tenancy. So we make that very flexible, and I can very easily say, maybe my organization doesn't care about US or UK passport numbers and can do something else. In addition to that, we also allow you to configure the ability of who to notify. For this piece here, if you read this, I know the print is a little bit small, but we're able to say that I want to show a policy tip to my end user, or I can configure who gets the email. For example, maybe if I actually care about this setting and the admin wants to get this email. For the sake of this demo, I'm not going to create this policy, but the other piece I did want to show is that not only do we allow you easy templates, we allow you to, from here, very easily customize policies as well. So if you have different requirements, it's a very easy way to get into that. The other piece I want to land is that within the Admin Center for the security and compliance personas, we've also front-loaded some of the important information around sensitive information types, threats detected, and also sensitively user label usage information directly onto the admin homepage, so you can very easily see at a summary what's going on. In addition to that, you can very easily see that within the admin centers, we have the new security and compliance areas that you can very easily navigate to within your specialized workspaces. With that, I'm going to come into the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center. So how many of you guys noticed the difference in look and feel, right? It looks the same, right? So that's one of our biggest pillars that we're aligning to, and what we've heard from you guys, from the customers, is if Microsoft is a singular product, it should have the same look and feel, and we've really done the work there. The next thing I want to point out is there's a couple of different things you'll see on this page that I'll demo. While I'm demoing this, if you guys have questions, feel free to come to the mics and just we can take questions there. So one of the first things you'll see at the top of the page is a first run and a first welcoming banner experience to show you the new value we've added to Microsoft 365 Compliance. What you'll see here is there's a couple of things around Compliance Manager, labels, alerts, and cases. And this welcome experience will be changing depending on where you are within your tenancy. If you're a new customer or an existing customer, we'll basically be customizing this to what your needs. So I'm going to go ahead and say, got it. The next thing you just saw, and is very, very quick from the transition, similar to the recommendation we saw inside of the M365 Admin Center, we also see a similar recommendation within the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center. And this actually is catered to specifically your compliance officer. So I'm able to see that maybe I haven't configured the GDPR within my organization. And within one easy step, I'm able to view the recommendation. So one of the biggest things around GDPR is being able to retain around 5 years of data. And so I can easily create a private label that goes ahead and does that. I can configure it to be everyone in my organization or specific users. And again, just to land the point here, with these insights and recommendations, we allow the flexibility to all the customers, whether they want to use the existing recommendations and guidance, or if they want to go ahead and customize the label as required. So I'm going to click out of this. The next piece I'll show is, remember how I talked about from the compliance aspect, assess, protect, and respond is the workflow? Well, we've taken that feedback and configured the page to really walk through that. So the first thing I see in the assess section is the compliance manager. How many of you guys are familiar with the compliance manager inside of Security Trust Portal today? A good handful, okay, a couple of you guys. Well, what we've done there is, now that Microsoft 365 is a single product that combines all of these different products and work streams and features, we've actually pulled Compliance Manager into the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center. And what that really means is now we have a single solution and a single place for you to configure all of these advanced options. If I go ahead and hit improve your score, I'm able to very easily figure out, maybe I want to do something with GDPR, HIPAA, ISO, right? And I can have that work stream to go into the appropriate pieces to then configure. The other thing I mentioned at the beginning of the session was we hear feedback that sometimes what are the different things you do need to configure from a compliance aspect? How do I understand what my compliance risk is? How do I assess that? Well, what we've done here is we've created a card around compliance checklist. And what that allows you to do is, if you see here, there are 7 steps. I have 3 that are checked off. I have 4 that I haven't done yet. And this very easily, within a couple clicks, tells me at a high level, what are the things that I should be doing to make sure that my organization is compliant? So the first thing I clicked on was, I haven't created a retention policy to retain my organization's content. I have 100 users that aren't covered by retention policy. Maybe I want to turn this on. So this allows me very easily to go and do that. The next thing is it's asking me to create a label around retention to classify and govern content. So in the past, customers have had to understand what does it mean to be compliant? What are the different steps I have to take? Is it step 1, step 2? How do I go about and do this? We've really heard the feedback and built this new piece where it becomes very seamless for you to understand what are the next steps I have to take to become compliant. Now, what's a bit different about this new Microsoft 365 Compliance Center is that we don't just show you what's going on within your hosted, your cloud services. We also have information around apps and users as well. This really starts to pull together the pillar of having a complete solution. You don't have to go to one place to see what's going on with your cloud information and being compliant. Within the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center, now you're able to understand if your apps aren't compliant or if your users are sharing files as well. And this really paints the picture, the full picture of how to assess the compliance within your organization. The next piece is Protect. I'll skip over this a bit because I think a lot of you guys have seen this already. So the first card we have here is around classifying content. This is around the unified labels piece. We have risky privilege apps. How many of you guys are familiar with DLP or Office 365 DLP? Okay, a lot of you guys, right? So you would expect to see this under Protect, right? What's new here is not only have we shown you Office 365 DLP and how that's trending around DLP policy matches, we also have the CASB solution, Microsoft Cloud App Security data around third-party policy matches as well. So this allows you to not have to stitch the data together. You get one unified view of everything. And of course, we have shared files and Discover IT as well. And for the response section, we have the ability to understand what are the active cases within my system, what are the different active alerts, and of course, disposition pending items. So I'm going to actually go ahead and take a look at one of my Protect things around managed labels. We'll give it a second to load. And what we see here is I'm very seamlessly taken into retention labels. How many of you guys have seen this screen around retention labels? Not too many. Okay, good. That's great because I think in a lot of these different Ignite sessions, we've really been talking about sensitivity labels. And what I want to drive home is there is now a single place for you to configure both sensitivity labels and retention labels. This is where the unified labeling and putting Microsoft 365 compliance as a single unified solution starts to play. So I'm going to go ahead and create a label, and I'll show you very easily how you can create a retention label. And this is the same functionality that we have in Office 365 that we brought over to Microsoft 365 as well. I'm going ahead and create an Ignite label. I can, of course, provide a description for myself, the admin, or a lot of folks have been giving us feedback around, from an end user perspective, how do I understand what this label does? Well, this is the solution to that. You can actually add a description for your users so they can understand what the impact of this label is. For the sake of the demo, I'm going to hit Next. So when I come to label settings, I can see that I have the ability to create a retention associated with this label. If you guys are familiar with Office 365 retention, you have the same configuration here. You're able to retain the content for 7 years, 5 years, 1 day even, if that's what your organization's requirements are. You're able to delete this content automatically. You can set it as a record. And what I wanted to show here is the same flexibility that you have with Office 365, you also have it here within the new Microsoft 365 Compliance Center. I'm going to hit Next, and I'm just going to hit Cancel. One of the things I did want to show you is how many of you guys find it difficult to understand what's going on with labels and compliance within your organization, right? A lot of you guys have, yes, I see a lot of hands. One of the biggest pieces of feedback is now that I've applied my label, how do I understand how it's impacting my system? How does it work? So I'm going to actually go ahead and click Explore Items, but before I go to there, I wanted to just point out within the GDPR label I've already created for this demo, I'm able to easily publish, auto-apply, and also, of course, delete. But one of the new pieces here is I can click the Explore Items and take a look at my new label analytics piece. And what is shown here is that for the GDPR label that I've pre-configured, I can understand how this item or how this label is being used within my organization. I can see the different items that are labeled with it. I can understand, how it's being applied, by who it's being applied to, and of course also the pending dispositions that are associated with this label because I've set up a disposition setting within this label. The other piece that's new is I can actually go ahead and take a look at what documents also have this label. So what's really awesome about this, and what I'm really excited about, is the fact that now within a single work stream and a workflow, I can actually take a look at the content that has been labeled with GDPR. So I'm going to stop for a second here. Any questions before I go on? Nope. You guys are all excited to see this? Yes, right? Okay. So I'm going to exit out of this, and one of the things I did want to hit on before we move on is I talked about sensitivity labels and retention labels becoming unified. And what that really means is now you can have one single place to configure both your retention and sensitivity requirements. Now, many of you guys may ask, sensitivity labels, maybe that's something my security admins or security operators really care about. Why would I see it in the compliance center, right? Well, what do we see here, right? What this means is there are some features and scenarios that span the breadth of the compliance and security specialized workspaces. And what we've done there is we've enabled the different personas to be able to cross-work with these labels, and you can actually configure them in two different places seamlessly. And that basically means that for DLP, for retention and sensitivity labels and unified labels, we allow customers the flexibility to be able to work with them regardless of the persona, because these are features that cross persona boundaries. So as you saw, when I moved over to the security center, it looks very similar to the compliance center as well. Did you see any transitions? Same UX, right? And that is one of our big goals. So again here, just to reiterate, you'll get a first run experience at the top that basically lets you know what are the new pieces within the system. So we have alert, secure score, and proactive hunting. So the first thing I'm going to look at is secure score. And one of the big things that we're really excited to talk about at this Ignite is the fact that secure score now spans multiple different categories around identity, data, devices, apps, and infrastructure. We're continuing to iterate on Secure Score, so we'd love to hear the feedback around how you guys are using it, what other pieces you would love to see on it. I would say hold your Secure Score questions for a second, because I'm actually going to go in depth into Secure Score in a minute or two. The other pieces we have here is we are able to, identify protection. Again, we have DLP here because that's a feature in the scenario that spans the compliance and security space. We have device compliance, device malware detections, and cloud app securities as well. Moving down here, one of the things we really hear the feedback around is for security admins and operators, alerts and being able to understand how alerts are impacting the system is one of the big key pieces. And what we've done here is within the security center, we've really made that as a key highlight. So you actually get this card that's very large that summarizes the active alerts within your organization. And one of the big things here is that you don't get active alerts only for Windows or Office or Azure. You get a combined list of alerts, and it's pretty seamlessly here, that spans across all the Microsoft 365 functionality. Of course, you get a cloud app security, device protection, and a couple of other pieces around device threat analytics. So for the sake of the demo here, I'm actually going to head and click on improving my secure score. So what you see here is once I've drilled down into secure score, I get this great visualization that's a deep dive of what I saw on my previous page around cards. And through this, I can really understand, what are the risks within my organization? What are the next pieces I should go and configure to make my company and more secure? So again, here I see my total score. It's pivoted around identity, data, device, applications, and infrastructure. I also see the next actions I should take to better improve my security. I'm going to go ahead and click on this Enable MFA. So just wanted to share some stats with you guys. I don't know how familiar you are or if you've gone to the other SecureScore sessions. One of the biggest things is by starting to use SecureScore, you can actually reduce the risk of breach by 30 times within your system. It's a huge number, right? And it's really, really simple to use, as I'll show shortly. In addition to that, one of the first things to do that we ask is to enable MFA, which actually increases your score by 50 points. That's huge, right? And also by enabling MFA, it actually makes you 99.9 more secure. One of the things here is how many of you have seen the experience where when to turn on MFA, you have to go and find the page inside of the Azure portal, right? It's not super straightforward, not streamlined. Yes, I see someone in the crowd nodding. So one of the things we've really done here is through the Security Center for Microsoft 365, we really streamlined this process and made it very easy to transition you to the place where you have to go and do this configuration. So through one simple click within the Security Center under SecureScore, I'm able to go ahead and create my baseline policy that will enable MFA. I'm going to go back to this. Any questions? Okay, I will continue. Just wanted to show you some other pieces that we've been working on. In addition to the SecureScore, we've also done a lot of work around monitoring reports. And this is to the respond and understanding and providing guidance piece. What's next within your organization after you understood how compliant and secure it is, after you've created your policies, the next step is to understand how are these policies doing within your system? What's the state and analytics around that, right? So through monitoring reports, as you can see here, we have a ton of new reports that we've started showing across the Microsoft 365 solution. You have DLP, which I've touched upon before. I have access control as well. I have devices at risk, non-compliant to unresolved malware, and of course, I also have applications and infrastructure as well. So I'm just going to pause here and be a little bit slower. And this is just to show the breadth of the reports and monitoring we've brought to the Microsoft 365 Security Center. One of the things I also want to show you is not only now can you group by category, you can also group by topic around reports. So when I easily click that switch, I'm able to see a different customized view for outbreak of summaries, risk, and also protection overview as well. And one of the powerful things we're bringing to the Microsoft 365 compliance and security centers is we understand that all the admins aren't the same. You know, you have different personas. So it'll actually allow you the flexibility to customize and configure your dashboards, reports, and these pages as what you need it to be. So if you look at the top within the home page, and also, I'll switch this really fast, we allow you to edit sections, add cards, similar to how you do it inside of the Microsoft 365 Admin Center as well. The final thing I wanted to show was alerts. And what I touched upon within the Security Center page was that in alerts, now we see not just Office, Windows, Azure alerts as one-offs, we see them all combined. So here we have a trend across the board of your Microsoft 365 products of all the different alerts we have in the system. We understand what's new, what's still being investigated and resolved in one very simple view. I'm going to just click on suspicious user login as an example. And from here, I'm very easily able to say, whether my alert status is active, maybe it should be in progress, pending, or whatever you guys deem it to be as a security operator or admin is investigating. I'm able to see the severity that's set to high. I can assign a category or and assign it to someone as well. Those are just some of the pieces that we brought in with alerts. And in Rob's session, we also showed the future of alerts, which is starting to have the intelligence and recommendations and integration to be able to start combining alerts to create an incident. So you'll have one single flow to understand what are the different pieces that happened that resulted in an incident. You have a question here? No? No question? Okay. All right, I'm going to hold for any questions before I continue. I guess that means you guys all love it, right? All right, so just in summary, because we have about 8 minutes left, I wanted to just drive home all the pieces that you've seen. You know, we really concentrated from a Microsoft 365 perspective on making it seamless for the different personas, having customized dashboards, having different cards, having the ability to move those cards around, you know, being able to really drive home the fact that the personas really drive the security and compliance needs. Our experiences are very coherent and seamlessly connected through the different admin portals, and also through the fact that, you know, you can remember security and compliance very easily now. Microsoft 365 experience is now a complete solution. You don't have to go to one-off places to look for things. Everything is now combined. You get all your Microsoft 365 security and compliance advanced functionality in one space. And of course, you know, this is, you know, just a step in the future. We have a lot of additional work, and after the session, if you guys have any questions around what's coming, you know, what are the new pieces and the asks that you guys as customers really need, feel free to come up and talk to us. And lastly is the proactive assistance. Again, I showed you that through recommendations, the different insights, the ability to say what are your low-hanging fruit to be able to really easily increase your security and compliance regulations and what's necessary within the system. And lastly, just wanted to show a slide of all the other related sessions at Ignite. I know that a lot of these have passed, but they will be on the Ignite website later viewing. But please do check out some of the additional Thursday and Friday sessions that are happening. And lastly, you know, I hope you guys enjoy the session. You guys are really excited to go start playing around with Microsoft Security and Compliance Centers when we start rolling out within the next coming months. Please evaluate. We have a couple minutes for questions, so either come up or come to the mics. Can you come to the mic?
Hi, I have a quick question. When is this rolling out to people's tenants?
Sorry, the question.
When are the new compliance and security centers running it?
Just to repeat, the question is, when do you guys get all this great new functionality I just showed, right? We are going to be in preview in the coming months. If you're interested in getting added to the preview program, please come up front later, and I'll jot down my email and we can exchange information.
You showed the quick slide where it showed creating a security incident for suspicious logins and how you can assign that for somebody to investigate. Is there any kind of integration with third-party ticketing systems, or is it all built in through that?
That's a great question. We are looking at that. It's not ready to share around timelines yet, but I would love to understand. Actually, we have a designer up here. I would love to understand how you would expect that to work so we can start taking that requirement as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any question here? Oh, there's a couple here.
Yeah, we have been using retention policies in Office 365, actually only in one workload in Exchange Online, where you can classify or label emails for exploration. How does that carry over into the new compliance center? Will this automatically appear, or is this something you have to recreate?
Great question. The new Microsoft 365 Security Center will take those seamlessly. It's all the same backend. So the existing Office 365 retention policies you have in place will eventually just show up in the new Microsoft 365 Compliance Center once we start rolling out.
Cool.
Next question.
Hi, yeah, is there some documentation around which security roles track to which capabilities in Security Compliance Center? I've been trying to give my security guys proper access to things in Security Compliance Center, and you give them security admin, they don't see stuff. You give them security manager, they don't see. I finally had to just turn it all the way up, which is obviously not what you want, but
Yeah.
the existing documentation is kind of vague about which role does what thing.
That's great feedback, and that's actually feedback we've heard quite often. Since the RBAC and permissions can get pretty hairy, why don't you come up after this and we can chat more about it. Next question. We have a
Yep.
couple more.
Hello. Is there currently an official mobile app or any plans to make a mobile app for accessing this?
What a great idea. Sorry, say that again. Yeah. I think what Alex up front is trying to say is it's something we're looking at. Right now, okay, the mic's not working. Yeah. He's saying there's something that we're currently exploring. Of course, the web pages will go out first, but mobile is, definitely something we hear very often as well.
Thank you.
Next question.
Yeah, earlier this year, I was asked to lock down emails that we send out to prevent social security numbers from being sent out. And so I was asked to encrypt the email if it was detected. And I looked at the DLP policies, and I didn't see a way of doing that within the Compliance Center. Is that new? I mean, has that been fixed now?
That's a great question. We actually have the SME expert of DLP and encryption right here, if the mic will work.
Okay.
Should I come closer and
Can
get
you
the
hear me?
answer?
Oh, there you go.
So you're trying to encrypt an email if you detect sensitive information. Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm
Using
sorry?
Unified DLP or Exchange DLP?
Well, we did it with Exchange because the DLP Center couldn't do it.
We recently just released the secure email option in Unified DLP.
Okay, and one other issue that we have with it is that if you sent the email before the DLP policy identified it, the email would go out and it wouldn't stop it. It wouldn't encrypt it. It wouldn't do anything.
We
But-
should let's chat about that.
Okay, all right.
I'll be here.
3 more questions, and I think I'm going to get kicked off soon. So,
Is the split going to apply to PowerShell connections? Because PowerShell currently connects to a single security and compliance endpoint. Is that going to change?
I don't believe that will be changing, Hugh. Right? We're still going to be connecting the same PowerShell. So,
Good.
Okay, so you've spoken a bit about GDPR compliance, and one part of the equation that I feel is a bit left out is, you're focusing very much on protecting the data, but is there any tool coming up or a way to extract data on behalf of the end user, or because there is this other part of GDPR when you're entitled to know what is stored about you.
that's great. For the sake of this, why don't you come up afterwards? I would love to understand this scenario a bit more, and actually, I might redirect you to some of the compliance folks as well.
Thanks.
Yeah. Last question before I take it offline. Yep.
So question on the licensing that you would require for the features that you discussed today.
So on the licensing side, basically what you have to have is Microsoft 365 to see the actual compliance pieces. If you don't have things like advanced threat protection like that, as something else, obviously you wouldn't see those features light up. But like things like SecureScore, since they're in many different SKUs, you would see that light up in the Security and Compliance Center.
Is that the E3 or E5 licensing?
On the Microsoft 365 side, if you owned Microsoft 365 E3 or E5, you would see this experience. If you don't own Microsoft 365, you would not see the Security and Compliance Centers because you would have the Office. If you just bought Office, you would see the Office 365 Security and Compliance Center only.
So you need all 3, Office, EMS, and
You
Windows
would need,
E3?
you would basically need Microsoft 365.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to turn off the mic now, but one more final question.
Is there a way to schedule these reports, meaning these are great dashboards and all that, but is there a way that you could schedule some of these things? Number one. Number two is that when you have those login attempts, right? So, so that is abnormal. Is there a way that you could have alerts sent out? Because that, email alerts maybe, because that's very important, I would think. If you can have email alerts sent out. Does that make sense?
Just to make sure I'm understanding the question, essentially saying if some form of label that you've set up, you want to be able to tie an alert to that so that you understand when something's happened?
No. two parts, right?
We,
The first,
we missed the first part of the question.
Yeah.
I apologize.
So the first part is that, we have these dashboards, right? We have this information. What would be good is to have a mechanism to have a scheduled report of these dashboards sent out to, meaning a executive summary or something of that sort. You pick what you want and say,
I
send
love
out.
it. It'd be great actually if you could kind of give us a little more insight into the scenario
Okay.
because it's something we've been thinking about with these dashboards. Part of it being how can we help you report up to your leadership? It'd be great to talk to you a little bit more about that.
So the second part is, whenever you have an event, right? So for example, a login event that is abnormal or risky login event, right? One of the things that we do is that once a week we have one guy who looks at it and does remediation steps. But what would be good is to have an alert soon as some event, that when the event happens, if you get a notification saying this happened, then we could work on it immediately rather than, nobody's going to keep on looking at that dashboard 24/7.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, let's chat a little bit more. I can give you my card and we can talk a little bit more.
That's definitely very interesting. We should think about that. All right, I'm going to turn off my mic. Thanks again.